Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. I'm Ryan Coleman, your host, as always, and I've got my lovely co-host, partner in crime.
That's right.
Miss April Coleman with us.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Long time no see.
I know, right?
All right.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, so we've been in and out of the studios. We've been extremely busy, and so we had to run a couple of shows that recorded, so I hope you guys enjoyed those. Really good topics. We do take some time picking those topics, so busy with the weather, so busy with work.
Everything.
So excited to be back with you guys.
Yes.
What do you think?
We are.
We're
so excited.
Super excited. Well, that's awesome.
I'm ready to tell everybody about these listings and coming soons and price drops. And
my wife's full of energy today, but guys, I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for tuning in to us. Every week we try to come in and give you the up-to-date information in your market and the real estate. We've got a good topic today. We're talking about foundations, mold. You know, we've had so much water lately and issues with that, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, what to look out for if you're selling your home on inspections. We're going to talk more about watch out for what? Price gouging. Yeah, it's out there. We got every foundation company in town.
Oh, yeah.
With all their specials, and there'll be $10,000 or $15,000 in price difference. So things consumers you got to watch out for and what we can do to help you. And if you're selling your home, or even if you're not selling your home, you have that foundation issue, you want to go ahead and get it repaired because time is not on your side with those.
Exactly.
And then we're going to go over what we've got going on, some great customers, new clients, and some real estate news.
That's right. If we can remember everybody, we've just been so slammed. Sorry, if we leave you out,
if
let
we
us
leave
know.
you out, we'll be on the next show.
Yes.
So we're going to try to cut
pick
to
it up.
this and then pick a lot of the topic up. So
That's right.
let's talk about new listings first, or some congratulations.
Let's do some congrats.
Yes,
Kind of off the top of my head, we closed to Motley Drive. So congrats to him. We closed Peachview. They were able to move down to Georgia, I believe. So they've been closed. Fox Hunter closed. We have closed on buyers and just all sorts of stuff going on. So congrats to everybody. And then I'll just go ahead and let you know some new listings that are coming soon that you can be looking out for. I'll go over those real quick. We have Gladewood and Clinton, Fox Hollow Road in Townsend. We have Crabtree Hollow in 10 Mile, Center Oak Drive in South Knoxville, Asselberry Drive in 37918, and then Steer Creek Road in Tellicoe Plains. That's literally on the mountain. It is a
100 acres, beautiful property.
It's
and that's
so
going
fantastic.
live today.
Yes, yes.
So many people, so much going on. I hope everybody's staying busy. I know it's officially summer. Kids are out of school. So much going on. And, like I said, the time this year, the weather, and we've had several properties that wanted to bring up this issue with all the rains and storms that we had. Moisture has come. We've had our own property and things like that. And we talked about what we need to do to get through those inspections.
I think it was a little more than moisture.
A little moisture, flood.
I think it was a flood.
A flood coming through. And, just the issues that we have had to work, and a lot of other realtors out there with their clients we always talk about if you're selling it once, you got to turn around and sell it again. And that comes in with the inspection.
And then you get it fixed, and then you have to sell it again.
Yeah. So the frustration with that is where do you guys go as a consumer? Who crawls under their crawl space?
That's true.
And nobody really wants to, and nor do you. But one important tip is if you're putting your home on the market, we always suggest either a pre-inspection or get us to come out to the property. We've been through tons of inspections and walkthroughs, and hopefully we could kind of point some things out that may potentially come up on an inspection so we don't lose a sale and we can walk through.
This is true.
Preparation's everything and putting your home on the market. And the last word that the buyer wants to hear is that four-letter word, mold. Right? Nobody wants to hear mold. We call it fungus, but it's out there. I mean, it happens. And so we had a little young couple that we were working with in their second home. Literally, did we go through 3 properties?
Yes.
3 properties. A lot of work.
Bless them.
But they're sweethearts, and we're closing on their house. And guess what? The last one still had some fungus issues.
Yes, it's been crazy.
We talked about that, and I think you're going to get that with the moisture, humidity is changing here in summer.
Especially in a crawl space.
It's just going to happen. So I think the biggest thing is do not be freaked out about it.
Right.
It's nothing that can't be cured, but there is some things that you need to watch out for, and also when you look into pricing. We wanted to kind of share with you a little bit of our experience with the McLaughlins. I hope they don't mind. I'm sure they want to help people as well. And during that process and walking them through, say, moisture or that crawl space opportunity. And I know as agents helping clients, it can be very, very frustrating. And how do we walk you through not only trying to keep the sale and the purchase alive for them because they know they really want the property, but separating yourself from all the foundation specialists and the crawl space remediation and the mold companies, and how do you get through all that noise? We probably won't have a real technical show on this because I think we could do a whole nother show on how to do it. But just overall tips and what you need to look for in the process of purchasing and selling and how to keep a deal really put together. Because, real estate, guys, is always about what a buyer and seller are willing to come together and think about it. They went through all the properties that they've looked at and they picked out yours. They put money down, they paid for an inspection, they paid for an appraisal, and they get to this point, they brought their family over, they're excited, they're planning where they're going to move their couch and the kids and where the dogs, and then everything comes to a halt with the inspection. So we have to remember that we get caught up in the numbers and things going on, but there's two sides of the equation. And what we've got to do is really work through that process. And I think the first thing that you have to do, if you haven't done a home inspection, let's look at that crawl space and look and see what's going on. But you've got to know the players out there now that they're extremely, extremely busy. We won't mention any names. But when you see $5,000 and $10,000 difference in price quotes, it's probably safe to say that there's a little bit of price gouging, price manipulation, however you want to work it.
But remember, you need to have several quotes or a couple of quotes at least. And a couple of people out there.
I think it's 2 or 3. You definitely need 2 or 3 quotes. And the frustration, though, guys, and the challenge in selling your home, and if you're the seller, you didn't know about it or it comes up as a surprise, and all of a sudden you get to the closing table or you're planning your move, you're moving across country, and then we're at a halt because you had an inspector have, not only do you have a laundry list of items, but then you've got the mold, the forward letter that everybody dreads, or it's fungus, or or the foundation needs some repair. So it's a combination about how do you get through that.
Right.
And I think the first thing is let's look at it objectively and get somebody that's not involved in the process. We've had a big issue with a company in town that an inspector will reference another company to come behind them, and it just happened to be a mold remediation company.
Yes.
And it just happened to be on a couple of our listings where every quote was $5,000.
Interesting.
It was very interesting. Maybe it was coincidence.
Yeah.
I really don't think it's coincidence.
Yeah.
So you have to watch that. And what they'll come out and say there's a $5,000 quote could be a $600 remediation.
Could be.
So, now mold is a big deal, fungus is a big deal, but you're going to see it. Right. And I think everybody has to set the buyer's expectations and the seller's expectations up front. And I think one of the biggest things, April, that we were working with the McLaughlins was the actual, depending on the price range, the actual number of the cost. And then all the extra add-ons.
Exactly.
Like, I got to have this kind of pump and this, and they're going to sell you the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
So how do you get through that noise? And the buyers,
nervous anyway about it. And I do have to say, if you want to back up a little bit on that, they did really good on their due diligence because the inspector that was out there actually peeked into the crawl space, if you remember, and didn't actually go into the crawl space, and we had to make him go back out to actually look in the crawl space because they said, you know what, I'm not really comfortable with that because they didn't go in there and give us a full report. And if they hadn't gone back, had them go back and give them a better report, they would have not found those issues underneath there.
True.
So
I remember there was a late night consultation about that and going through that. And so that is important. You have to, unfortunately, go in there and really take a look and make sure everything is squared. But what do you think would have been, so we went through several properties, unfortunately, but what do you think that issue is if you're selling your home or if you're buying? What's the biggest advice you take about it as we're going into break? What would you say if you're buying now, advice to everybody, buyer or seller?
I'd say do your due diligence, and not only, I wouldn't say rely solely on everybody else. I think that you need to think for yourself and say, I have to get an inspection, and these are the things that are important, and we have to make sure that we do our due diligence to make sure that's, that people inspect it, or that we get several quotes and go out there and talk to them and make sure that you're comfortable with it, because we can only do so much to make you feel comfortable. And it's your home that you're living in, so just make sure that you feel comfortable about it.
Got to be at peace about it. You're listening to Real Estate with Ryan. We're coming on a hard break. Stay with us. We'll talk more about this issue and so much more. Stay with us.
When it comes to the real estate market, turn to the experts that focus on you. With over 20 years experience, Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty knows what it takes. It's the right marketing. It's the right exposure. Ryan and April will use their expertise each step as they guide you through the home buying and selling process. Ultimately, it's about results.
You need someone you can trust that is committed to you.
You have a lot of choices, but the choice is simple. It's Hometown Realty.
Is it time for a new place? Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty has the experience to sell your home quickly and help you find the right home for you. And if he can't sell it right away, he will buy it himself. Life changes, and sometimes your home needs do too. Buying or selling, turn to someone you know you can trust. Ryan Coleman at Hometown Realty.
Hey, thank you for listening to Real Estate with Ryan. On the other side of the break, we were talking about foundation issues. And yes, my partner's gone. My wife is gone. She's out the building. Had to go help a client. So just me back in the studio. So that kind of busy day. But thank you guys for staying with us. Again, you're tuning in to Real Estate with Ryan. If you're tuning in for the first time, I'm Ryan Coleman, Hometown Realty, your host. Me and April every Saturday come to you guys and try to give you the up-to-date information on the real estate market. Whether you're buying, whether you're selling, whether you're investing, whether you're just another business owner, we go over a lot of ideas and talk about all these here on the radio, and always encourage you guys to follow us on social media, tune into our radio stations, because it's really helpful, and we get a lot of feedback from you guys, and so very thankful for you guys tuning in to us. So what April was talking about on the other side of the break was our great little clients that are closing. This was their second house and had to actually go through 3 of them. And those 3 houses that we went through, not only did we have some moisture in almost all of them, we had some foundation on the first one, and it became challenging. And that was what April was saying was, what do you do when the opportunity there is, what do you do when you get to the property and you're just getting so frustrated, you've sold your property, and you need to be in the next one, and then you have mold and you have fungus and you get nervous. And April was talking about that preparation and what you have to do. And I think that opportunity is so important is, can it be fixed? Almost everything can be fixed. And with the opportunity on the fungus or the crawl space, it's just going to happen. So the first thing that you want to do on the crawl space is, I say get with a great agent, because a great agent has been through numerous inspection reports. And what they're going to be able to do is separate the inspection from the noise. And the noise being, there's a lot of stuff on the inspection, but we really got to focus on what's imperative. Now, when you get into the moisture, you want to pick a company or remediation company that does it. There's plenty of people that will just go out there, slap a solution on it, and will not be effective. And, sellers, one of the biggest issues is you don't want the guy that's price gouging and way above market, but you want somebody that's going to be reasonable, that will stand back and make sure that the work is done right. And I'm not sure about a warranty, because some of these companies will issue warranties, but let's face it, mold or fungus, if the conditions of the crawl space are not maintained, they're going to come back. Unless you do a decapsulation or encapsulation system, sorry about that, you go to that expense, and that can be quite expensive. So it's all about maintaining that crawl space environment, and you would be surprised on the minor things from moisture, gutters, and so many things from grading that come up on these foundation issues that really are preventable. A lot of our inspections and things that come up, it's preventative maintenance. And so maybe this crawl space that we had, it was simple as a gutter and a downspout being disconnected. But in time, and that's what we'll kind of lead into our foundation we're talking about, in time, moisture or water intrusion and time never work out well. It says, actually, we were talking to our foundation that moisture and time is devastating if it's given enough time. And actually, moisture causes the foundation to expand, rot, collapse, and a number of problems. And sometimes it's hard to notice. Even if you look on the surface and you can't detect it, some ideas, if you don't check out your foundation, actually your drywall will start separating. You'll see issues in floor trim. You have to reinforce joists, maybe some door frames issues. Very, very important. Foundation can be a real deal killer. And the opportunity when we go into foundation, that can be where it's really, really tricky. That's important that you make sure you guys get with a reputable contractor. And a lot of those companies will produce a lifetime warranty. There is a lot of difference between what those guys do, preparation, product, material, how they lift it, versus some guys that just kind of want to put a Band-Aid affix on it. What is causing the foundation in the first place? Some of the main things could be a water main leak. We've got flooding, improper grading or soil issues. Sometimes we just got some bad soil. So you need an engineer to come out and look at some of your soil and things like that. By far, we're not, soil engineers or foundation specialists. We leave those to the experts. But these are things we see on an inspection. And hopefully we can walk you through that process and get you there. Some of the things that we see during the foundation can easily be preventable, but how do we get to the closing table? I think some of the buyers and the sellers in this process can really get into the home inspection, negotiation, and time, and it comes down to really, ultimately, guys, it really does come down to numbers, but the numbers of the property that you're doing the work with. So if contractor A comes in with the price and contractor B comes in, I think that goes a little bit more, and hopefully where your agent can be involved, that can be involved in the process of recommending a contractor that is reputable, that has a history of making these repairs, and that can walk you through the process and the time frame of the foundation. So those are kind of my points on the foundation, the process, the mold, the moisture. We're not going to get in all the weeds about that, and actually, who wants to sit here and listen to that? But that process is a big one. And I think the biggest thing during that process, you guys have to understand it's going to happen, and that's why it's so important about a foundation itself and getting an inspection, or the moisture in a crawl space. So you have to do these inspections. All of our contracts are written on a contingency, so that when you buy the home, everything when you do the walkthrough looks really, really great. But at the end, if you don't do that inspection, it could cost you thousands. And so that's why you want to do this inspection. You want to do your due diligence test, and then have an opportunity to get some estimates in your pricing. So that's what we're talking about: foundation, mold, moisture. Give you a little kind of update on the market, what's going on. Since April's not here, kind of just me in the studios, we'll talk about the market overall. So what do we do? So it's 6 months on the market. First quarter's, it's kind of amazing how that's over and gone. Spring market's up, down, gone, out the door. And what are you seeing? So I've talked to a lot of people out there. We had 2 customers yesterday, 1 today, and going to meet another client here in just a few hours. And the biggest question that I get in the marketplace is, how is the market, right? And that could be a loaded question, but it's a good question. And I tell everybody across the board, East Tennessee, sellers, if you're selling a property, there still couldn't be a better time now in the market to sell your home. I think inventory levels as a seller, they're low, all right? Buyers, there's opportunities now that we're seeing price adjustments. We're seeing some movement in the market, I think. But then there's pockets in the market where there's multiple offers. If you're in that $200,000 price bracket, the supply and demand issue is not there, right? So just keep in mind that those markets are going to move quicker. If you're in the 400 to 600 range, you've got a lot of heavy new construction competition. And that is a challenge for everybody, right, guys? So you have buyers. I always ask sellers, I say, how do buyers determine value, right? And the biggest thing that they do, they're going to comparison shop. And the biggest thing that we can do is make sure that we are, if we're representing a seller and we're marketing property, right, we want to make sure that we get the most amount of information out to the consumer, what you've done to the home. So many times we go through and look online and we browse through, and we would do these great videos and marketing, and we even do drones and all that good stuff. But you know what the consumer doesn't know? That's not how people buy homes. We were showing a property today in Kingston, beautiful property, and my client was saying, Ryan, the video didn't have this, or the pictures didn't show that. And I was kidding with him. I said, well, that's why you got to come see it, right? So we haven't got to a technology age. We're not going to have people come look at properties. And buyers can do that from comparison shopping. So keep in mind when you're in the marketplace that we're watching this upper market. We're watching competitive homes. So although we're in a really good market, to ask the question how it is, it's definitely really good. But there is some price points and some challenges throughout the market that you need to look for. And that's why April and I are always talking about always having the right agent working for you, and the power of interviewing a couple agents to make sure you have the right agent working on your side. Because a lot of time in this marketplace, even if the home is in a competitive market, doesn't sell the first time, doesn't mean that the price was the issue. Could be the marketing. So a lot of times when the marketing and the price don't align, we may miss out on buyers. And as we're in the summer months now, as you know it, just a couple months, kind of hard to believe that we're going back to school. Kids will go back to school. Fall will be here. Football will be here in East Tennessee. But an opportunity to catch a buyer in the price range may pass you by. So think very carefully if you're thinking about buying or selling, and we'd always love to talk to you if you do that. Seems like this show really always goes quicker than we can expect. Every week you can find us right here on the radio. You can catch us online at ryancoleman.org. If you need us for anything, 24 hours a day, 693-SOLD. And thank you guys so much for following us on Facebook. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we're going to see you next week. Take care.